So let's solve equations that involve decimals. Okay, so anytime you want to determine whether something is a solution of an equation, you want to put that value in where you see that variable. So like on part A, if I want to know if x equals 1 is a solution to this right here, then I want to put 1 in where I see x. So I'm going to substitute that in. So I've got on part A, oops, that doesn't show up very well there. Let me try a different color. On part A, I'm going to put 1 in where I see x, and I'm going to see if it makes a true statement. 1 minus 0.7 is 0.3. I'm going to put a question mark there, which does not equal 1.5. So on part A, I would say no, that is not a solution. Okay, so on part B, I'm going to put negative 0.8 in where I see x. See if it makes a true statement. So I've got negative 0.8 minus 0.7. Does that equal 1.5? Well, whenever I do the math on that, I get negative 1.5. Negative 1.5 does not equal 1.5. So on this one, I would also say no. So now let's try the last one. Part C has 2.2, so I'm going to put 2.2 in for x. 2.2 minus 0.7, does that equal 1.5? And whenever I do that math, I get 1.5, and that does equal 1.5. So I would say yes, that x equals 2.2. Okay, so now let's solve the equation. So we've got y plus 2.3 equals negative 4.7. I want to find out what y is. So you always have to ask yourself, what's happening to this variable? Well, it's being added to 2.3. How do I undo adding 2.3? You undo addition with subtraction. So I'm going to subtract 2.3 from both sides. Okay, so on my calculator, I'm going to type in negative 4.7 minus 2.3 minus 2.3, and I get negative 7. So that is my solution. And if you want to test it out, you can. You can check your answer. So you can put negative 7 in for y. Negative 7 plus 2.3. Try that on the calculator. And if it equals negative 4.7, you know you did it right. So I know that's a good answer. Y equals negative 7. Alright, so on this one, a minus 4.75 is equal to negative 1.39. So in order to solve this, I have to ask myself, what's happening to a? It's being subtracted by 4.75. How do you undo that? With addition. Add 4.75 to both sides. On your calculator, you would type in negative 1.39 plus 4.75, and you get that a is equal to 3.36. And again, you can check your work by plugging that in. Alright, so let's take a look at this one. Negative 4.8 is equal to 0.8 times n. How do you undo multiplication? Well, you undo multiplication with division. And you always, always, always divide by the number that's in front of the variable. So I'm going to divide by 0.8 on both sides. So on the calculator, I'm typing in. This order is so important. If you type it in backwards, you're going to get it wrong every time. Negative 4.8 divided by 0.8 is negative 6. And then you can test it out by plugging that value in. At least check it on your calculator. Type in -6 times 0.8 and see if you get -4.8. Okay, so check out this problem. P divided by -1.8 is equal to -6.5. How do you undo division? With multiplication. Its inverse operation is multiplication, so you would multiply both sides by -1.8. This cancels that. I'm left with P is equal to, now on my calculator I'm typing in -6.5 times -1.8. And I get that P is equal to 11.7. Again, test it out on your calculator. Type in 11.7 divided by -1.8 and see if you get -6.5. Okay, so on this problem we're going to translate and solve. So we've got the difference of n and 4.3 is 2.1. So n minus 4.3, difference means subtract, is means equals. That's the first part of this problem, and then they want us to solve it as well. So in order to solve this, you would have to add 4.3 to both sides, so that I get n is equal to 6.4. Alright, on this one we're going to translate and solve. The product of -3.1 and x is 5.27. Product means multiply, so this would look like this. -3.1 times x is 5.27. To solve this, you have to divide both sides by the number that's in front of the variable. What I'm typing into the calculator is 5.27 divided by -3.1, and I get -1.7. Alright, that's it for this lesson.